Hello and welcome to Your Voice Matters TV with Di Riddell. After a short hiatus, for rather a long one, here I am back again, bigger and better. And today I am so thrilled because Your Voice Matters TV, the place to be for your voice to be heard. Now, my guest today, I'm delighted to have the beautiful Suzie Cheel from the Gold Coast. Doesn't she look fantastic? Welcome, Suzie.
Thank you, Di. It's an absolute delight to be here.
Fantastic. Now let's just let me tell you a little bit about Suzie in case you don't know her. She works with leaders and entrepreneurs. She's an award-winning artist who has exhibited and sold her work in galleries and collections around the world. She has a master's degree in applied science. She has worked with several seven-figure leaders, expanding their self-awareness and self-worth and guiding them on their spiritual path. She's the creator of the Heart Whisper Daily Guidance Oracle cards. Oh, yes, hold them up. They're the Entrepreneur's Essential Toolkit. How good does that sound? Now, these cards were born out of a near-death experience in 2011, and they help many to truly love, to learn to love themselves. She's the author of Emergings, a meditation on the emotions of change. And lastly, she's an executive with a global social wealth creation company dedicated to helping millions of families achieve lasting financial freedom and the education to make that a family legacy. Suzie, what a fantastic woman you are, and what a wonderful skill level.
I know, I sort of think it's amazing when you read it out, and it's the second time this week, because I spoke live earlier this week, that I've heard it read out. And it sort of gives me tingles to think, you know, sometimes you think, oh, you forget about all the things that you've done in your life. And yeah, and I'm at a point now in my life at this age as well, where, you know, I feel I can do anything I want and truly still make a difference.
Wonderful, wonderful to see mature women sparkle and shine and come out. It's just amazing. I think it's wonderful. So we've got a couple of things that I was going to talk to you about. Now, Suzie, you're most known for your art and your oracle cards, and that's heart to self-love awareness. So before we get on to the next bit, would you like to talk to us a little bit about heart self-love awareness? That is such a beautiful phrase.
Yeah, absolutely, I would. And because I've just had a couple of experiences in the last couple of weeks where I've seen, and like a woman in her, I think, late 40s, and another woman who is nearly 70, who were really broken. I've been helping run a women's circle here on the Gold Coast, and we've been doing it on Zoom the last 2 weeks. And just to see the change that we're giving somebody, and I'm happy to do it here, I give somebody this really simple exercise. I used to sort of just do mirror work and use Ho'oponopono, which I still do. But what I do now is I get people, when they wake up in the mornings, to absolutely, lying in bed, hug yourself and say, I love you. I really love you. And then feel all these tingles go through your body, and don't get out of bed till you're getting that sort of tingle feeling. And then as you get out of bed, you can just say, wrap this and say, thank you, thank you, thank you.
But a simple exercise. It's something that people can put into practice right now, today.
And one of these people who was totally didn't love herself at all, she told me the week after I'd first got her to do it was, Suzie, that was so hard. It was so hard to say, I love you. And that's what I found with a lot of people I've worked with. A, they forget to do it, or B, they can't do it. This is easier, I think, than facing yourself right in the mirror, which is what I used to always do. And that seemed to take about a month for people to get. This can happen in a couple of weeks. And then Jill bought my cards, and she uses them every day and journals, and she just says that's changing her mindset. And Yeah, so it's that we need our mindset here, and we need our mind, but we have to make that shift from here into our heart so that we begin to really feel the love we have for ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, and I'm so pleased you said that, because it's so much in need in the world at the moment, isn't it?
I think so. And I mean, well, if we're not in love, we're in fear.
Yes, and we don't want to be
fear, love. Fear. I should have two paintings here. I've got yes and wow, but yeah. So, and I suppose that's it. I'll do that. This is one of the cards, but something happened in my life where I had to moving from procrastination to motivation, and I happened to have this painting here, and it's the painting, the yes painting from the cards. So I have this sitting besides my big computer, and getting to the other end, we were getting to, this was sounds and that, so I painted this one. Wow. So that it reminds me that I need to be, if I'm saying I can't or whatever do them, I've got those in front of me. Right, okay, keep focused. So, and the thing there, I have worked with some of these seven-figure earners, millionaires, a multi-millionaire, and I've got most of them now using this. This is where it became the entrepreneur's toolkit, because even if they just take a couple of minutes in the morning, they're doing something for themselves. Yeah. And most of them don't do me time, is my experience. Very few of them.
Yes, exactly.
They forget, or it takes over. And I've even had a man who feels, I've got a testimonial from him about how this has helped him on his spiritual path. So I know that one of my things is love yourself into abundance. And without love, we can't move to that. I believe it blocks us moving to that state of being in, whether it's wealth, prosperity, good health, good relationships. And of course, in America today, it's Thanksgiving, which is one of the American traditions I wish we'd inherited here. I keep thinking I should do a Thanksgiving dinner, because it's that wonderful thing of, it's one, we picked up Halloween and a few other things that I could do without. But the Thanksgiving, I think, would be so special because, and as I often say, abundance sits on the wings of gratitude. The more grateful we are, and I always think back to Oprah, who talked about how she always wrote 5 things each night before she went to bed. And it really, yeah.
But now you've moved on and you've been talking more about money and money stories. So would you like to share one of your little money stories with us?
Well, what I discovered was I really had to change my money story. When I was younger, it was fine. I grew up in middle-class Australia, good, Canberra, the national capital. I always had holidays. I rarely wanted for anything. I won scholarships, so I got to study and do all of those things. But what I realised was I had got into some situations which we had got into debt. And for years, I wouldn't talk about it. There was too much shame. But recently, I have fully changed my money story. And I can easily talk about, what we've done and things like that. And it came through an NLP training recently. I went in there to let go of any limiting beliefs I had about my whole self. And on the last day, we did a money exercise that I had done before, and I actually came away with, I love money. I love what money can do. I never had any of those things about, rich people are greedy and all that. I didn't grow up with those sort of slogans that lots of people have. And about a year ago, most people a lot of people watching this will know, just over 10 years ago, I had a near-death experience. My kidneys totally stopped functioning. And sitting in a dialysis, or before that, I said, you know, I'm going to be one of the 25% that live. It was life, death, or dialysis, and I chose life, as Tony Robbins would say, in a heartbeat. But it was a very long healing process because my bones collapsed because of the drugs and whatever else. So I really dropped out of life a bit for a while. And I lost, even though I'd got that message sitting in a dialysis chair when I said, why me? I got the download. Suzie, when you fully love yourself, you will be healed, and you'll share that message with love with the world. And it was a bit of a shock to me at that time. I bought Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life when it first came out. So, and I'd actually met her and things like that. And so it was a bit of a shock at, you know, in my 60s to be, early 60s, to hear that message, knowing the amount of personal growth work that I had done. I'd been a successful teacher and trainer. I had my own very successful textile business. And then I suppose things changed, and we invested in property, and the property market dropped, and we got into debt, and then we got into more debt. So last year, before I discovered what I was doing, what we're doing now, which I'll share in a minute, which has changed my money story, and I'm helping other people, because I find there's a lot of artists and the spiritual workers and things like that who still don't charge or value their worth. And so with that, we're now telling people we were actually $80,000 in debt just over a year. Oh, this time last year, we still had that debt. Wow. Yeah, wow.
Wow.
About 5 weeks ago, I paid the last amount of debt that we had off.
Oh, what?
I know. And it's through, and it's through where my, we had friends who helped us. They came here one day and then, so they gave us like a system to do, and we got in touch with people and did all of that. So to go from where you do have limiting beliefs, because you say, I can't afford to do that, or I don't have the, I think Des trained me to say, I don't have the budget for it, to now be able to, just over a year later, to be able to be doing, buying what you want. You know what it's like? You go to the supermarket and you're looking, I think, oh, no, I don't really need that, or it's not in the budget or whatever else. And I said to Des on Monday when we went and bought, you know, things that we probably don't need or that or else, but it was nice to buy, you know, smoked salmon and some other things that I wouldn't normally, or it'd be a real treat. So that's, that makes a very different shift. But last year, a friend of mine, she's from Tasmania, but she lives in Mallorca. And she sent me a video with her and this other beautiful woman who is now my spiritual and business mentor, an interview. And they were talking about making money while you sleep. And I thought, oh, and Des said, we're not doing anything else. Not doing anything else. So I said, well, it's just $300 US. So I put in just $300 US. And about 6 weeks later, I looked at my back office where it was, and I had, I think it was, so 6 weeks, I had about $80 or $90 from that investment. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I should look at this. At the time, I had all these people who said, Suzie, teach me how to make oracle cards. So I'd resisted for so long because I know the amount of work there is in making a deck of cards if you're using your own art and your own messages. Lots of people just use clip art and things, but all these were my own art that came from my own healing journey. I painted to heal. And I did a free workshop. You'll recognize it, a free workshop. Then I did a paid workshop, you know, $47 or something, the low one. Then I put up what it was going to do a 6-week course to make your cards. One person wanted to pay. So I said, I can't do it for one person. I'm going to charge a lot more money for one person. And I didn't really just want to do it for one person. So this was an artist who I'd become friends with. He lived in Canada. And she was, I think at that time, about 77. And I said to her jokingly, how would you like to make some money while you sleep? And she said, oh, I'd love to. I'm not earning any money in the bank. I've got all this money in the bank. It's not earning any money. So I sent her the video I had watched with Hazel and Amanda. And I woke up the next morning and she said, right, how do I get started? And that's how I'm doing what I'm doing now. She is helping all her family to come in and help them grow their money. Her grandson is going to be able to pay for his own university education. So this is, and then I said to Des, you better come in because I'm going to bring all these people in. So what I found is a business that's values match mine. The owners of the business goal, they're very rich. They don't need to be doing this. Their goal was to bring all the Latinos out of poverty. And what's happening now is particularly South Africa, Nigeria, where I worked as a governess when I was in my 20s. So I know what the poverty and that's like. And we watched something the other day and there was a guy from Nigeria just said, this is just magical. There are so many families coming out of poverty. So their thing is to set people financially free. And it's a company that's, remember when Uber came in and remember Airbnb, and they were disruptive. So the company I'm working for is also disruptive. And yeah, my goal is to, I am an executive in the business on my way to the next sort of level. So there's a passive side of it where people don't have to talk to anybody. But what happens is when you start talking to people, you find out there's a lot of people, particularly during COVID, who's, well, they're not earning money in the bank and they're looking for ways to be secure.
Yeah.
So that's how I've come to really change my money story. And the woman I work with, Hazel, has helped me. You're somebody who's also worked a lot with chakras, being really balanced. So when I first went on, we were very blessed. She identified Des and I as leaders. So we've been in her leaders group almost from the beginning.
At a time, Suzie, so I'll need you to wrap up, darling.
Right. Okay. So there's that. So that's how that's come about. And that's how I've been doing the work to change my money story, because once we love ourselves more, we can do that.
Exactly. Exactly. Is there one little tip that you would like to leave the listeners with?
One little tip would be, because we did the self-love earlier, one little tip would be moving forward into 2020, look at where you really, 2022, thank you, Des, really looking forward to where you want to be. Hold that picture, write it out, hold that picture in front of you, like on a timeline, drop it forward in front of you so you can see that. And I did that yesterday. I went to a women's breakfast here, and somebody said, what are you seeing for 2022? And I said, well, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to be making an impact in the world.
Oh, isn't that amazing? That is just so incredible. It's lovely to see that growth in you, the joy and the enthusiasm. It's just amazing. So thank you so much for being my guest today, Suzie. It's been a delight.
That's okay. And I just like to say, if anybody wants to have a chat with me, I'm open to doing that. Just contact me via Messenger is probably the best.
Okay. Okay, I'll put your details underneath the video when we post it. Okay?
Right. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute joy.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Okay, you've been listening to Your Voice Matters TV with Di Riddell. Your voice is your unique gift. Let it be heard, speak up and speak out. So if you'd like to stay in touch, do subscribe to my YouTube channel or join me on Facebook on Rising Speakers Community. But cheerio for today and cheerio to Suzie.
Bye, everybody. And thank you.